Hey, pull up a chair for a minute. Let's have a real talk, just between us. If you've been sitting there, staring at a silent inbox after sending out 50, maybe 100 applications, I want you to take a deep breath. I've been where you are. I felt that pit in my stomach, wondering if my years of experience suddenly became worthless overnight.
But I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear, but it's the truth you need right now. The problem isn't your talent. It's not your work ethic. The problem is that you're likely treating your resume like a grocery list. You're listing Python, SQL, project management, and Excel like you're checking off items for a Sunday dinner. And in the world we're living in now, that doer mentality is exactly what's making you invisible. Let's look at the numbers for a second. By the end of this year, somewhere between 83 and 91% of corporate resumes will be screened by AI gatekeepers before a human being ever even blinks at them. Think about that. 91%, and here's the kicker. In 2024, job applications rose by 31%, but actual hires? They only went up by 1%. That is a massive hyper-filtering gap. The systems are getting tighter, and if you're still selling yourself as a component, someone who just performs tasks, the system is designed to delete you. It's looking for something else. It's looking for the person who builds the machine, not the person who acts as a gear within it. So, if the skills you spent a decade mastering are no longer the golden ticket, what exactly are these gatekeepers hunting for? Let's talk about it. I've seen this play out 100 times in the last year. I call it the shift from component to architect. See, for the last 20 years, we were told to skill stack. Learn one more tool, get one more certification, and you'll be safe. But that era is over. Why? Because AI can now perform those individual tasks faster and cheaper than any human ever could. The market has stopped paying for what you can do. It has started paying for the systems you can build to replace yourself. I want you to imagine you're a hiring manager. You're under immense pressure. 96% of business leaders have publicly stated they expect massive productivity gains because of AI. They don't want someone who can write reports. They want a workflow architect, someone who can orchestrate a fleet of AI agents to handle those reports so the business can scale without adding more people. This is why 80% of hiring managers now prioritize AI orchestration over traditional technical certifications. They aren't looking for a coder. They're looking for someone who can design a self-healing code framework. They aren't looking for a writer. They're looking for a content systems designer. Now, let that sit for a second. It's a big shift. It moves you from being a cost to being infrastructure. When you're infrastructure, you aren't an expense to be cut. You're the foundation the company sits on. It sounds powerful in theory, I know. But I also know what you're thinking. How do I actually put that on a piece of paper? How do you translate "I'm an architect" into the 6 seconds a recruiter actually gives your profile? Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's get tactical. I want to show you the exact words that turn a $110,000 marketing manager into a $165,000 AI operations lead. It's about the orchestrator flip. Let's look at a typical resume bullet point. It usually looks like this: responsible for managing social media campaigns and writing weekly newsletters. That's a grocery list item. It screams, I am a manual laborer. Now, let's rewrite it for the 2026 system. Try this. Architected an automated multi-agent content system that handles 24/7 lead generation and distribution, increasing engagement by 40% while reducing manual production time by 80%. Do you hear the difference? In the first one, you're the person doing the work. In the second, you're the person who built the system that does the work. That shift carries a 40% salary premium. We're seeing top-tier AI orchestrators command packages up to $315,000 in tech hubs right now, because they aren't just individual contributors anymore. If you're in an interview and they ask, "Tell me about your experience with Python," don't just list the libraries, that's a trap. Instead, say something like this: I use Python as a governance tool. For example, in my last role, I didn't just write scripts. I built a self-healing QA pipeline that automatically audited and corrected 5,000 commits per day. You've just signaled that you operate at a higher level of the stack. You've moved from being a doer to an owner. This is what recruiters mean when they say they are looking for architectural proof. They want to see that you understand the process, not just the tool. Now look, I know some of you are listening to this and thinking, that's great for the tech geniuses, but I don't have a computer science degree. Or I'm trying to switch careers entirely. Let me put your mind at ease. The system test is actually the great equalizer. It honestly doesn't care where you went to school. It only cares if you can govern the machine. In fact, 45% of major employers, we're talking Google, IBM, Accenture, have officially removed degree requirements for these skill-based roles. They've realized that a 4-year degree doesn't prove you can architect a modern workflow. Only your work can prove that. However, the reality is still tough. The average white-collar job search now lasts about 5.5 months. That's up from 3 months just a couple of years ago. If you're in that 5-month grind, you have to stop trying to win the old game. If you keep applying for marketing specialist or junior analyst roles, you're competing with 10,000 people for a job that's being automated away. But if you pivot your search to AI operations, workflow designer, or system strategist, the pool shrinks and the salary grows. You're no longer fighting for the scraps, you're being headhunted for the solution. I've seen people with zero tech background make this pivot by simply documenting how they used AI to solve a complex problem in their previous non-tech role. That prof of system is worth more than any diploma in 2026. So, here's our mission for today. I don't want you to just listen to this and go back to scrolling. We're going to do a surgical strike on your resume in the next 24 hours. I want you to open your most recent job description. Find every bullet point that starts with managed, wrote, performed, or created. Those are output words. We're going to delete them. Replace them using this formula. Action verb plus system, AI orchestration, plus measurable result. Instead of created reports, use engineered and automated data reporting infrastructure. Instead of answered customer emails, use deployed a multi-layered AI support workflow that resolved 60% of tickets without human intervention. Your goal is to delete tasks and replace them with infrastructure. Remember, a recruiter is only going to give you about 6 to 8 seconds. They need to see instantly that you are a person who can scale a business without adding headcount. More than 4% of core worker skills are going to be disrupted by next year. You can either be part of the disruption or you can be the one designing the new world. This isn't easy, it takes a different kind of thinking. But the people who figure this out, they're the ones getting the callbacks. They're the ones skipping the 5-month wait. The system is deleting skills, but it is absolutely starving for architects. Go build something that scales. I'll talk to you soon.